tell you a story about a cat skin. And before that, we will sing a song so that you have some energy to listen to my story. Okay, are you ready? I can't hear you. Are you ready? Okay, let's start. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, shout hooray, hooray. If you're happy and you know it, shout hooray, hooray. If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it. If you're happy and you know it, shout hooray, hooray. If you're happy and you know it, shout hooray, hooray. If you're happy and you know it, shout hooray, hooray. If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it. If you're happy and you know it, shout hooray, hooray. If you're happy and you know it, do all three. If you're happy and you know it, do all three. Hooray! If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it. If you're happy and you know it, do all three. Hooray! If you're happy and you know it, do all three. Hooray! If you're happy and you know it, do all three. Hooray! If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it. If you're happy and you know it, do all three. Hooray! Okay, guys. Let's start our story. Once upon a time, there was once a king whose queen had a hair of the purest gold, and was so beautiful that her match was not to be met with on the whole face of the earth. But one day, the queen fell ill, and as she knew that her end is very near, she called the king and said, "Promise me that you will never be married again, unless you met with a wife who is so beautiful as I am, and who has a golden hair like mine." And the king agreed. The queen shut her eyes and died. The king was not to be comforted, and for a long time. He never thought for taking a new wife, but the wise men said, "This will not do. The king must marry again, that we may have a queen." So the messengers sent far to seek for a bride as beautiful as the late queen. There was no princess in the world so beautiful, and if there had been, there was not to be found who had golden hair. The messengers come home with nothing. The king had a daughter who was just beautiful as her mother and had the same gold hair. And when the daughter grown up, the king saw her and said to his courtiers, "May I not marry my daughter? She is very image of my dead wife. Unless I have her, I shall not find any bride upon the whole earth. And you say there must be a queen." The courtiers were shocked and said, "Heaven forbid that the father should marry his daughter. Out of so great a sin no good can come." A daughter was also shocked, but hoped the king would soon give up such thoughts. So she said to him, "Before I marry anyone, I must have 3 dresses. One must be of gold, like the sun. Another must be shining silver, like the moon. And the third must be dazzling as the stars. Beside this,
I want mantle of thousand different kinds of fur put together, to which every beast in the kingdom must give part of his skin. The king made the most skillful workmen in his kingdom, weaved the three dresses, one golden like the sun, one silvery like the moon, and the third sparkling like the stars. His hunters were told to hunt out all the beasts in his kingdom, to take the finest fur out of their skins, and thus a mantle of thousand furs was made. When all were, the king was sent them to her, but the daughter got up in the night, when all were asleep. She took three of her trinkets, a golden ring, a golden necklace, and a golden brooch, and packed the three dresses of the sun, the moon, and the stars up in a nutshell, and wrapped herself up in the mantle made of all sorts of fur, and besmeared her face and hands with the soot. She threw herself upon heaven for in her need, and went away, and journeyed on the whole midnight. She slept in the hollow of a tree until the midday. King's dogs snuffled about in a tree, and when they found a beast in a hollow, they took it to the huntsman. The huntsman took it alive, and said they would take it with them if they could catch it alive. But the beast awoke and said, I'm a poor child that has neither father nor mother left. Have pity on me. They took her home to King's palace, and made her do all dirty work in the kitchen. Catskin went to a feast at the king's castle, and cook told her to stand behind the door. She took off her fur skin and washed the soot from off her face and hands, so that her beauty shone forth like the sun. She next opened her nutshell, and brought out of it the dress that shone like the sun. And the king came up to her, and held out his son and danced with her. He said, I never saw anyone half so beautiful. When the dance was at in the end, she curtsied, and when the king looked round for her, she was gone. No one knew whither. The guards that stood at the castle gate were called in, but they had seen no one. Catskin hated the king's soup, and toasted a slice of a bread first, and nicely as ever she could. When it was ready, she went and looked in the cabin for her golden ring, and put it into the dish. The cook, the cook was frightened when he heard the order, and said to the catskin, You must have let a hair fall into the soup. If it be so, you will have a good beating. The soup was sent to the king, and when the king tasted the soup, he asked who cooked the soup, and he answered, I did. And the king said, That is not true. It was better done than you could do it. And then the cook answered, To tell the truth, I did not cook it, but Catskin did. And the king said, Then let the catskin come up. The king asked the catskin, Who are you? The catskin answered, I'm a poor child that has lost both father and mother. The king asked, But how did you get the ring that was in the soup? Then she would not own that she knew anything about the ring. So the king sent her away again about her business. Cat's king asked to go up to the feast and see it as before, but was told to come back in half an hour. Then she ran to her cabin, washed her face, and put on a silvery dress as the moon. And when she went in, looking like a king's daughter, the king went up to her and rejoiced at seeing her again. And when the dance began, he danced with her. After the dance was at an end, she managed to slip out, so slowly that the king did not see where she was gone. But she sprung into her little cabin and made herself into cat skin again, and went to the kitchen. While the cook was above stairs, she got a golden necklace and dropped it into the soup. The king ate it, and it pleased him as well as before. So he sent for the cook, who was again forced to tell him that the cat skin cook it. But she still told him she was fitted to have boots and shoes thrown at her head. But when the king had ordered a feast to be got ready for the third time, it happened just the same time as before. "You must be a witch, Catskin," said the cook, "for you're always putting something in your soup, so that it pleases the king better than mine." However, he let her go up as before. Then she put her dress, which sparkled like the stars, and went into the ballroom. In it, and the king danced with her again, and thought she had never looked so beautiful as she did again. So whilst he was dancing with her, he put a gold ring on her finger without her seeing it, and ordered that the dance should be kept up a long time. When it was at an end, he would have held her fast by the hand. But she slipped away and sprang so quickly through the crowd that he lost sight of her, and she ran as fast as she could into her little cabin under the stairs. But this time, she kept away too long, and she stayed beyond the half hour. So, she had not time to take off her fine dress and threw her fur mantle over it, and in her haste did not blacken herself all over with soot, but left one of her fingers white. She ran into the kitchen and cooked the king's soup, and as soon as the cook was gone, she put the golden brooch into the dish. When the king got to the bottom, he ordered Catskin to be called once more, and soon saw the white finger and the ring that he put on it whilst they were dancing. So he seized her hand and kept fast hold of it. And when she wanted to loose herself and spring away, the fur cloak fell off a little on one side, and starry dress sparkled underneath. Then he got hold of the fur and tore it off, and her golden hair and beautiful form were seen, and she could no longer hide herself. So she washed the soot and ashes from her face, and showed herself to the most beautiful princess upon the face of the earth. But the king said, "You are my beloved bride, and we will never more be parted from each other. And the wedding feast was held, and a merry day it was, as ever was heard of or seen in that country, or indeed in any other. The end. So that's all. So I hope you enjoy the story of the cat skin. And thank you for listening. Goodbye.